All right, so it was like the second drive of the Houston game, and the quarterback was scrambling and he was getting tackled, and I was coming in to just finish the hit.
Honestly, it just looked like a regular football play. I noticed when he got up from making a tackle, he was limping, he was kind of hunched over.
In the moment, I thought I had the wind knocked out of me because I couldn't breathe a little. I didn't think it was too major.
Carter's a pretty tough kid, so I knew something was going on at that point. He actually stayed in for one more play, and then he finally came off the field.
And I had to play the next play because it was a punt, and I just couldn't get off the field on time. So, and I wasn't worried at all because I thought, give me a couple minutes and I'll be right back out there.
Really didn't seem like it was that serious at the moment. But so from my perspective, this was like a regular football play until we found out exactly what was going on.
So I wasn't worried, and then Miss Lori wanted to call the ambulance and got a little worried.
Once we saw the ambulance come over to, pick him up, at that time football was not a factor at all. It's all about his safety and making sure that, he gets in the right, medical professional's hands to make sure he's good to go for whatever treatment that he would need at that time.
We believe that his knee or cleat got right under my ribs, and it lacerated my spleen and my liver and broke a vertebrae in my back.
It took a while for us to get transferred to Latham, and during that time, I was having to take breaks and go outside and talk to my parents because didn't want to cry in front of Carter. So I'd go outside and call my parents and cry, and talk to them, and then I'd come back in and try to be tough. I just kept telling them, you're going to get better and you're going to be fine. This is all going to be fine. But honestly, I never knew if I would ever see him play football again.
That's a lot to take in, especially kind of not knowing what your future is going to be if you're going to play football again.
I handled it pretty well at first, and then we were in the middle of the winter off season, and I got to a time where I got a little sad because I couldn't work out. I was kind of losing weight because I was just in a bad state of mind where I just didn't want to eat because I couldn't work out, I couldn't get better, I couldn't run, couldn't do anything.
And it was just a long road back, which he started off really slowly, and going back to practice or weightlifting in the off season. He was very cautious and careful. I was in contact with Coach Sally and Coach Lori about what he could and couldn't do, and how I wanted him to be very careful and make sure if anything hurt that he would tell them.
He did have to have some type of plan, so we were in constant communication with the parents, the athletic trainers, the coaching staff. We were constantly in communication with him, let him know, this is your plan for this week and weeks going forward, to where we had him, kind of on a program to keep him on track to be able to play this year.
It was rough just not being able to grow or get any stronger during off season and just watching everyone else.
The biggest thing was the communication aspect, to making sure that whatever we were doing wasn't putting too much stress on his injury, his spine, whatever off-season lift we had going on. We made sure we modified it if we needed to. That was one of the biggest things going into this off-season. That was going to be something that we had to monitor, is how is he going to be when he got in there to be full contact again.
A little nervous, first time in a real game situation since the incident, but I was just really blessed because, that injury could have been way worse than it was, but I was lucky to be back out there.
For me as his mom, it was emotional, and I was grateful, but also just very emotional of seeing him back out there, especially being captain this year. And I was super proud of him.
He put a lot of work and a lot of effort into, getting back from that injury, and for him to kind of see the benefits of that against MUS was really touching to me. It was really good to see him because he helps us win. He's a really good football player. And it's very inspiring when you have somebody that comes from an injury like that to come back and be as strong and being as fast as he is this year, and how well he's played. I think it's something we can all look up towards.
He just encouraged me the whole time, and they just knew I was going to be back and come better than ever, and they were with me every step, and I really appreciate it.